Hey everybody, glad that you join us on the first formal live of exploring a little bit behind the scenes of our lives and talking a little bit about our life here in the Nielsen family. Now this is going to be recorded and I know it's going to take a little bit of time for people to join, so I'm going to go ahead and just give it a few minutes and just chat with you a little bit while we have people that are joining. But thank you for joining us for this live today. One of the things that I really would like to do during these lives is to talk about a subject that I think is really underrepresented in society, and that is chronic pain and what a lot of people go through uh, behind the scenes. So bear with me while I just give a little bit of time. I posted earlier announcing that it was going to start at 7. Just give it a few time for people to join. But while we're waiting to join, if you're joining and you want to include some of the comments and kind of interact with people that have already joined, feel free to do that. One of the things that I've noticed recently is you have people, whether it's on TikTok or in general, they have been having a lot of success in kind of increasing awareness with people that are going through cancer. And there isn't a whole lot of people talking about what people are going through as it relates to like chronic pain, whether that's CRPS or just a lot of other behind the scenes issues, even if that's mental health, physical health, chronic issues. There's still oftentimes a stigma attached with that. So, um, wanting to kind of help start the conversation with that. We're also going to record because I'm going to talk a little bit more about kind of what's on my mind here, a little bit more formally here in a second. But um, I'm also recording this. I'm going to put this on the YouTube channel so people can watch it later. So bear with me. You'll have to be patient with me. This having a live is something makes me a little nervous, to be honest with you. Just kind of putting yourself out there in a way that is different than just like a 60-second post or even an edited video. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start a little bit more formally. I have some friends on TikTok. As soon as they started learning more about my wife's Nell's story, they started opening up about some of the things that they're also going through that they haven't always felt comfortable sharing with people. And the story that I've got posted on our YouTube channel talks a lot about the history of Nell and what she's specifically gone through with her story. And so I'd really encourage you, if you haven't already gone out and watched that, to go out there and to watch that. It's about a 45-minute video, and it talks a little bit about history. And I want to get into some of that today. Um, but if we leave anything out, we can refer back to that. And some of it I'm going to just kind of summarize just for those that aren't familiar with their story and why I even want to get out there and talk a little bit more about that. Many years ago, when Nell started having symptoms where uh, changes were happening in her eye. She, naturally was alarmed, and we looked into that, and we um, got an MRI and learned that she had the benign lacrimal gland, benign mixed tumor behind her eye. And when she had that first surgery, as traumatic as that was, it started really um, becoming more sobering when we learned that it came back the second time. And when it came back the second time, and when she had that surgery, it was actually the second time that she had the surgery where she had the adrenal failure. And I remember when we were in the hospital, we didn't know why she was waking up, and some of the details, as I'm just going to kind of ponder back on what we went through before they took us to the LDS ER room. They were in just the clinic that um, that she had the procedure in, and I remember the doctors, when before I could really tell that something was wrong, um, they were really pushing behind her jaw, trying to wake her up, and it wasn't working. And they started kind of looking at each other, and that's when they wheeled her over to the LDS hospital. And she was just so out of it, and the doctors ended up starting to talk about how her adrenals were failing. And oh, it was such a scary time. I In the YouTube video, I talk about how she almost died in front of me, but I wanted to share a little bit. And one of the reasons why I'm kind of giving a little bit of the history, you guys here, and I know that people are kind of probably going to be coming in and out, and because this is my first live, that we may not get a lot of views, but as we do more of these, and as people are able to, if they weren't able to know, if they weren't used to me going live and they didn't see my post that was going on live at 7 today, um, can watch the recording. And the hope is um, that that Nell even can be part of here, interacting with the comments, and maybe even be a part of the live themselves. But she has a unique platform with what she goes through. Um, that although I try to do justice with all these different forms of increasing awareness, um, that I come from a place of sincerity. Um, I always, to be honest with you, don't know how well I do, and kind of not only representing her well, but whether or not I'm influencing anybody else that are going through things similar. And I didn't intend, and I don't claim that this is going to be, hey, I'm going to be such an influencer, but it bugs me because Nell, for example, watches some YouTube followers, or I mean, some YouTube creators, and some of them she's even gotten to know and become friends with. Hey, Nina, I guess I should pay attention. Nina, you'll have to bear with me. You're a pro at this, but oh my goodness, I am brand new. As I'm kind of looking at those that are joined, we've got actually people that are coming in, and I don't know if they're still with us here. It's hard for me to tell how many we've got. I've got my couple of my daughters in here. Nina, you guys, is someone that's on TikTok. We've become friends. She's here in Utah, and Anyway, shout out to you, Nina. If you're not already following her, be sure to follow her. She's really followed and has even shared one of our posts, and she's got thousands of followers. And after she posted that, that's actually where a lot of the views of being directed over to the YouTube video came from. Uh, Nobody knows, poor old Rex, right? Um, so thank you, Nina. I really appreciate that. But going back to the the influence that these families, in fact, I've even and watching. Oh yeah, you bet. Yeah. She's got a big heart, you guys. In fact, Nina, real quick, I saw you driving. I know you've been out in Tennessee influencing. She joined with a lot of creators out in Tennessee. D. Chad and his for his little girl Mia has got cancer, and trying to increase not only awareness with that, and whether it's me or anybody else that's getting out there that's trying to make a little bit of a difference in an area that's maybe underrepresented. I in no way would ever want that, and I know that Mel wouldn't, to have that come across as if we're kind of trying to compete for the stage of what's out there. I mean, some of the bigger ones that people are aware of, at least in this community space, have been baby Tessa, Tia, and the Chad's and his daughter. Um, Sorry. Part of my message is trying to just find a life balance. And one of my posts that I just did talks a little bit about all the hats that I try to wear. And I try to focus on all of the things that matter, and sometimes just in bed. Sometimes she's trying to just get rest and recover from things. Ellen and Abby can attest, they're in here, and they might interact with you a little bit, but our baby Indy, our little granddaughter, come and try to help, but I don't want for her to feel forgotten or not represented or have a voice. And as I needed to kind of increase some of my studies and trying to All right. I think are we back? Looks like we got a good connection. Ellen, maybe you can give me a thumbs up if we're back. We've got a lot of people that have joined, and my wife, that was my wife, she's trying to join to maybe comment with some of you guys. All right, so you can hear. Okay, great. Some might have to come back in. All right, Ellen, what do you know? So Nell's trying to join, and my phone rang, and I didn't know if something was wrong, but I was in the middle of kind of bawling there a little bit. And what I was saying, you guys, is there she is. Hey, babe. Well, we've got more people turning out that I had thought, and hopefully even more watch the video after because this is being recorded. But what I was saying now is I was talking a little bit about the history and how things really kind of become sobering when we were having the experience that we were having in the LES hospital in the ER room, where I was almost losing you. And I was about to give a detail that I didn't share in the YouTube video where your pupils had become so black. They dilated, and oh my gosh, she was just going to die in front of me. And I want to get back to that history a little bit so that people can understand. But before Nell had called trying to join, I was talking about how Nina Nina had joined, and Nina, I don't know if you're in here. It's kind of hard for me to see whether people have come and gone, but Nina is a friend that is a big influencer, and she has such this huge heart and has really took to Nell and supporting her and shared Nell's story. And I'm just measly old Rex that doesn't have a whole lot of followers, and she shared something and it just blew up the YouTube channel, and people were going over there and really starting to get to know And right before I was trying to get, she was on a live and driving in your car, Nina, and you're, yeah, I was about to do a comment to see if you'd be willing to join to support Nell in this live, but you're driving, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to get you, so I really appreciate you joining. But when I watched the positivity and the great things that could happen with what's happened with JT and the American Heart Association and Tia and Deshad and his daughter, baby Tessa. Nell and I would never, and our family would never want to have us make anybody feel like that we were, we had something that was more serious or that competing for a stage. But as I try to balance my life and make adjustments, and I see people that are out there trying to take initiative, the Chad even said, it just started from like a dance. And there's just something in my soul that wouldn't feel right to not try to do more when Nell is oftentimes just in bed and she's trying to recover from a flare up and she's worried about us. She's messing up the plans. There's some family that has been trying to come over to our place. And a lot of people, especially those that are closest to us, know to kind of how to adapt to the situation because you can't just plan something and have it go. She feels so concerned about whether she's going to be ruining people's plans, and she's just so mindful of other people in their life. Hey everyone, thank you for joining and becoming a part of our lives. An important conversation. Oh, babe, it's awesome. You know, people that come in and out, I want you to know, and Nell taught me the true meaning of, I think, of what kindred spirits are. The YouTube families, going back to that she follows, have meant such a great deal to her. She's become even friends with some of them. And she doesn't feel as alone in her room when she is connected with these families. She even sent a package full of pretty expensive oil products to a friend in Australia. She's just, and she serves from a stage that sometimes does just not get the visibility that it deserves. Even if there would have been three people to join this, if that would have made someone feel like that they could talk a little bit more openly without shame of how their life has become imbalanced, but not because of their wrong choices, and that they don't feel that their suffering in silence or forgotten is so worth it. And quite honestly, I feel that that's part of her mission. You know, one of the things, sorry, sniffing and crying in your guys' ear doesn't look probably pretty. Oh, thank you, babe. I love it too. Oh, you guys, I'm so humbled. I can't see how many followers are here or how many have joined, but goodness crap, gonna make me swear. You know, years ago, one of the lowest times of Nell's life, and my girls, I'm sure, remember this very vividly as well. You're in the process of moving to our home. If you want to see how beautiful our home is and how talented Nell is, you guys, go and watch some of my posts during the holidays. I'll take some of the credit for being kind of the grunt work. Oh, I love you too, buddy. That's my daughter, you guys. Abby M3. Follow her if you're not already. She's a sweetheart. I know Ellen is in here as well. Ellen, maybe you could do a shout out if you're comfortable with it so that they know your username. And if you're comfortable with them following you, her, she's my first. But go and see our front room. Go and look at Nell's artwork. One of the last things that I ever thought that I would ever do is be some kind of handyman, some kind of a guy that would fix up and make things look good. I'm not artistic, no, I can tell you. I was a drummer. I'm gonna not to digress. My nickname was Sexy Rexy, and boy, did I get autographs in high school. Anyway, I'm musically talented. I maybe will sing to you one time, but she's the artist, and my kids get that from her as well. And our home's beautiful because of her. She's the vision. And so, aside from her behind the scenes life, as that's kind of the theme, a woman's and a mother's purpose is oftentimes so understood that to be there for their kids. Oh, I've seen some amazing ones, you guys. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. And this isn't all scripted, so I apologize. It's kind of jumping all over the place. Back in the day, I dated quite a bit of girls. Laybourne, Laybournes, Brooke and JT, if you're hearing this, shout out for the Bay, the Vortex, you guys. But boy, I was a dancing freak. I'll tell you that. And I dated a girl or two, should say that. And no, you were the only one that was not only hot as hell, but that I felt was someone that would have the qualities of and ready and mature to be the mother of my kids. And that's not to discredit any of the other girls. They're great people and they've gone, I'm sure, on with their life. But I wanted to let you know that that was a big deal for me. And if you guys follow or have seen anything about my kids, that is mostly her. So just that being a huge part of her and other women, especially as they share Nina and others that share a little bit about what they're going through. And I love as people share a little bit more of the behind the scenes. And Nell's taught me with the connections that she's had with YouTubers of what it means to really be kindred. This can sometimes be a pretty dark world. Usually takes me 5 seconds to be able to identify someone who's kindred. And that I think it's a special thing to meet kindred spirits because you have connections and you're good people and you're wanting to do good in the world. But you guys, there's also the kindred of the kindred, your soulmate. Don't if you haven't felt like that you found your soulmate, don't give up on that. Know your mind. You know that. But we're stronger together. We're joining conversations, hard conversations, and as part of those conversations, my hope are the people that have felt forgotten, that they don't have a stage, they don't have a voice, feel less of that. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Whether that is, I would love to see nonprofit organizations be created that focus on chronic pain, CRPS, Spoonies. I didn't even know what a Spoonie was. But a Spoonie is kind of a nickname for those that are dealing with chronic pain. And not only is part of the goal to break down stigmas, but damn it, I am sick of people like my wife not being on the front and center of news agencies and newspapers and knocking down the doors and trying to find stories to get out there and to reach into the corners of hospitals and homes where people aren't on a platform at all, and they're dealing with all sorts of pain and people trying to get relief from various kinds of pains and feeling like that's okay and that's an inspirational story. You want to talk about inspiration, you talk about someone who's more disabled. I mean, no disrespect to my, I've got a friend who's he's paralyzed. He's a world renowned speaker. He's traveled the world. Love him. Look him up, follow him. His name's Chad Hymas. Shout out, Chad, if you're watching this. But Nell has been more disabled than someone that had a bale of hay fall on his neck. Now you tell me that that's not the kind of inspiration that blows people away, even if it's not on the news. As it should be. I'm telling you. And not for fame, not for look at me, not that I'm a pity party, but because there's a huge need in this world for people to feel like it's okay to have their life significantly altered and how that impacts their loved ones, their family, their friends, and not have the guilt eat them up. Feel like they still have people around, adapt their life, see their worth. One of my deepest regrets, guys, and maybe I'll kind of end this life here and we'll get into more things hopefully in the future. One of my greatest regret, one of the things that really weighs on me is not having the strength and virtue that I need to be the husband she I have weaknesses. I have vice. I make mistakes a lot. And too often I don't have the strength of virtue to show up for her. One of the things that I want, and I hope that people take away from this, is you can't get that on your own. Doesn't matter how good of a person you are. And I don't know where you're at with your spirituality or your religion. I am so sorry, you guys. I've been sniffing in your nose. One moment. Sorry about that. Behind the scenes. Um. Oh, stay on. Okay. Well, tell you what. I'm gonna keep going for however. I will keep going until I see a thumbs up from my wife to say, "Get the hell off this thing." How's that sound, you guys? I I see people saying join, 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 but at the top it says three, and maybe that's because those are my friends. So maybe my friends have kind of gone, but there's actually a lot more people in here. That's what I'm concluding. More will see it. I'll stay on. So I'm sorry, you guys, I can't tell. And for those that have joined, if there's anything that rings true to you, or if you want to share anything that you're going through, leave a comment, and we'd love to learn a little bit about what brought you here. And if you're not already following me, it would be an honor to have you follow me and to get to know me and my family more. Yeah, and that's a good point. If you're just getting to know us and you'd like to, oh, perfect. Oh, thanks, Abby and Ellen. If you're joining, you liking what you see, we try to keep it real. My wife and I are considering doing more of these. So follow me, go and check out some of the posts, get to know us a little bit more. And yeah, Nell may join us. So anyway, I'm hoping that the people that are joined here, even if they're not leaving any comments, that they get that message. And I'm still going to stay on here as if everybody on here doesn't want me to shut up, and I get that it's being recorded on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. So, Nell, you can kind of be the timer, okay? Tell me to shut up because I'm sure I could gab about some other things here. We can have some fun. It doesn't have to all just be serious and sad. Because hey, listen, we have some good times. You guys ought to hear Nell uh, laugh. Boy, I wish I could try to. I'm gonna try to get impersonation of this one, I think. Oh, she gets it low. Oh, guys, she just makes some kind of noise anyway. She's a hoot, but we have some laughs, and sometimes our date nights, and the just know that you have a friend flying around trying to steal the show. Oh, are you talking about the dust? You might be wrong. Oh, anyway, can you guys still hear me? Someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I used to. I say good bug, I think. No, that's some. Can you guys still hear me? Because I used to be able to hear myself with these, and now it's not. So you could still hear me. Is that what you're saying? No? No, is that before I go on? I used to be able to hear myself talking, but I can't now. So can you give me a thumbs up on the sound? You can hear. Weird. I think I tapped something on my earpiece to cause the feedback. I was actually hearing myself or something, but if you guys can hear the audio, then I think we're still getting it. Okay, weird. But yeah, we got a little floater. I don't know if it's a bug, but join the conversation. Okay, so where was I? Um, I was surprised. I was surprised at how many people. Oh, it looks like I got. Hey, Abby. You guys, Indy's mom just joined. Abby, give a shout out. Follow Abby if you are already. She's Lexi CHRI. You can see the Ellen.M17, you guys. She's my oldest. Abby, Abby Yan 3 is my youngest girl. All right. Well, what else do you guys want to talk about? Hey, what's up? Abby, you can hear me okay as well? Oh, hey, listen, it changed for me, you guys, but it sounds like that the Bluetooth's still working and you guys are hearing me. So I'm not gonna dwell on that. I just hate to lose the audio. It looks like the connection's good. But Lexi Chria, Lexie Chri. If you guys aren't already following her, go follow her. That's Abby. Abbie is what she goes by. That is my son, Mason. So I think Mason's in here. Sweetheart and Indy's mom, and we love her. So shout out. And Char underscore SLC 86. You guys see her? Let's give 30 seconds. I think that, oh, Mace is coming. Oh, okay, great. So watch for him, you guys. If you guys, hey, Mace. Oh, what's up, brother? Mason Matthew Mulestein. That's my son, you guys. So go follow him if you aren't already. Um, wow, I got my whole family in here, you guys. That's pretty awesome. Um, so you guys see Char Char? Hey, bud. So Char Char DK, I'm sorry, I don't know if maybe if you wanted to make a comment of what your first name is. I know that's your username, but you guys, she has like liked and commented on so much of my stuff, and you want to talk about someone who is authentic and someone that you connect with. Charlotte, what a sweet spirit, you guys. Go and follow Charlotte. Check out her stuff. Um, I uh, I was getting kind of some kind comments and likes so consistently that I told her, didn't I? I told her you earned a follow, and she did. Oh yeah, you're welcome, you guys. You're welcome. Um, let's switch gears a little bit. Nell's life story is something that I started doing, I think, a little bit of justice to in the YouTube video. but I got the timeline wrong. She had adrenal failure after the second surgery. And the third surgery, I think I had been so traumatized that regretfully I didn't want to go back in the back with her because it impacted me so much. I was afraid it was going to happen again. But if you go and watch that story and you understand 45 minutes of some of the background of things, that's one correction that I wanted to make. And Nell is saying, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too, Charlotte. Charlotte. That's how I'll remember it. Charlotte Swebb." And Nell's saying, "Anyone in here that suffers with chronic pain or who is a caretaker to one?" Yeah, let's get some conversation and some engagement going. Feel free. People, I understand, especially if you don't know us and you're kind of trying to check out and you're kind of coming and going. You could see that we actually have quite a few that are joining or that are new. You're just you. Well, that's what I say. We love it. If there's one thing that you're adopted, if you're authentic, I love it, you guys. Someone that, whether it's chronic pain sharing, whether it's, we've got two people in our family. My brother has a son that has autism, and um, there's a significant, important um, person that someone in our family has a relationship with. And I don't know how comfortable um, that individual would be in in sharing who he is, but uh, we also have come to love some of the conditions that he goes through. That's kind of in that space as well. So the point is, um, I love seeing stigmas getting broke down, but more than that, I love seeing people get inspired by that. And I'm surprised at how much people eat that up. And and they start just kind of opening up to what they're going through. With all the people that are joining this, or if you're joining this and you're learning, um, oh, it looks like I got another friend in here. Yep. Um, if you're getting introduced to me or any of our family, and you're brand new, welcome. Your family. Hopefully, you're getting kind of a sense with some of the posts in this live and watching this video that will be later posted on YouTube, what we're about. And just a huge, big brother hug. Welcome. I don't do this full time. I don't have any expectations of where any of this is going to go. My priority is making sure that my family is being taken care of. I help people get started with their software for a software company. Um, I um, am involved with school. I work with a friend of mine that does coaching and going to be helping people kind of go through starting the coaching process. And so I'm not going to be doing any of this full time, but whether it's because of people needing to just feel like that they've been seen and that they can share more of their behind the scenes life, or whether that is focusing on just chronic pain, there's so much potential to come together and to feel stronger and better because of it, especially with the negativity and the way that the world is. Um, and so, if any of that rings true to you, or if anybody in my family and any of the values that we have and what we're trying to do both within our own small family as well as on a larger scale if we can, to make a difference, in the world. Um, that's I got distracted because I'm kind of talking about a lot of important things. I was talking about how I don't have the strength and virtue on on my own. And I was talking about, I don't know where your spirituality is or if you're religious or not. And Charlene's talking about how she deals with anxiety and have had that for 25 years. So thank you for sharing that. And for those that are joining, another thing that you can do, you guys, if you're not used to lives, if you press on their username, then you can hit follow. And then right to the left of that, you think it's something like share or comment or whatever. And then as Nell just did there, that puts their actual username, in the comment. And then it makes it easier for people to pull that and follow. And then that, you can kind of see that you're following each other. Um, but, a lot of the regrets that I have in life is not feeling like that I've got the strength and virtue. And there's been some dark times where my failings because of that has risked things sometimes. And whether it's chronic pain that you're dealing with or any kind of pain that's come from the past, like Charlene's talking about here of having a story with bullying and just kind of, toxic situations, I can guarantee you, oh, I'm going to try something here. Bear with me. You guys see SESSKY mom? What's up, girl? She is, you guys follow CESS underscore KY mom. She is who I would call is um, the editing queen. She'll take video and edit things up. She's done some great stuff for GT. She'll just take people that she loves and has a skill for that. Go follow her. Hey, oh shoot, I love this. What's up, girl? Give people your real name. I don't want to call it, the username. She just barely just did a Coke post. JT Laybourne's got this um, soda wars going on. Boy, that man's a leader. Can I just quickly just do a shout out to JT Laybourne? If Laybourne, if you are watching this, um, even if it's in the recording later, just know that you are a leader of leaders, my brother. Um, I'm going to tie in if I can. No, I don't want to. This focus is so much to do with you, but she's going to say, "Time out, you're done." And if she doesn't do that, then I might talk about other things in my life if that's okay. A lot of the pain and stuff that I have, and this kind of ties back to. I'll come back to the virtue and strength thought in a second, and why we can't do that on our own. I want to still get to our higher power in that in a second. Charlene, you go to bed. Is it 4 in the morning there? Goodness grief! What time is it? Hey, Nell's the boss, so if you got to go to bed, you got to go to bed. But until she says we're done, I don't know if we're gonna be here. I'm gonna keep going, but if you got to go to bed, you got to go to bed. But GT Laybourne and Scott Henry, I had an older brother that I wasn't really close with, and I'm not as close as I could be, I guess, with my younger brother. But I kind of think of them as the brothers that I never had, and I'm kind of jealous when I hear different stories of people you'll see brothers being close and just doing things together and things, and that just wasn't my story. So I connect with them. If you're ever wondering why that's something that matters to me, keep going. Good to listen to you and your feelings. Okay, good. Okay, guys. Might do some little bit more crying, but um, and JT, not only did he have the heart surgery, but as he was growing up, he wasn't able to join in a lot of the other sports and stuff, and so he experienced exclusion and the pain of feeling inferior because of that. And Scott Henry was bullied. I don't know if you're still in here, Charlene. Maybe you can go and watch the rest of it. I'll do a post inviting people to come go and watch the full one. So maybe you can go and watch the rest of this because we might refer back to you mentioning that because you was leaving some comments here and shared some things. But every single person, whether you're a friend with them on TikTok or whether you're here in this live, there's been something that's happened in your past that you're embarrassed of, that you're ashamed of. And so often where you shouldn't be. And I'm not talking about making mistakes and people changing and improving. I'm talking about like JT feeling like that he wasn't as good as some of these other friends, or Scotty Henry being bullied. I had buck teeth. I'm going to look ugly here for a second. Not that I don't already, but I'm going to kind of try to show you a little bit about what I look like with my buck teeth. When I bit down, I could put my whole finger between my teeth. And in the fifth grade, I wore a strapped headgear. No kidding. A net. You want to get a laugh? It was like a net, and I had hair back then. I had a fluffy part down the middle, and it kind of poofed up here like bunny ears. Can you just get the visual on that? Can I get someone laugh emoji? And I wore that shit with white pants and what I thought was the coolest at the time because it was new at DI, some blue tennis shoes with yellow stripes on the side. Yeah, I could wire a power plant, that's for sure. And I was made fun of, and I was bullied. Maybe not as bad as some of the other stories that are out there. There was one point where I had someone kind of push me from behind, and I had a girl that I liked in elementary with her crew come around me and while I was laying on the ground and kind of making fun of me that because I thought that she might have liked me and they were making fun of me. So we listen, I know that everybody has experiences. Boy, I'm seeing a lot of people on here that I know. If you're already friends with me, put a shout out there because it's kind of hard for me to see what's going on. And I've got some of my family in here, and I'd love to hear if something's on your mind, if you've got any questions, if you want to talk about something that you've gone through. So feel free to engage here. Hey, um, but as I've talked a little bit about that, maybe that brings you back to what you might have gone through. Talk about salt in the wound. Like that's not already enough to have something in your past be something that you still maybe feel inferior about. And then all of a sudden, on top of that, you learn you've got depression or anxiety. I struggle with perfectionism and OCD. It was really took a long time for me to talk about that. The stigma that's involved with that, let alone have that be something that could ever be inspirational to someone. I don't always manage it the best, but we're talking about behind the scenes, we're talking about pain. Yes, a huge focus are things like with what my wife's going through, surgery related, new condition getting developed related, central regional pain syndrome, the flare ups that she has. Her skin will burn. She has to have her room so the room our room and bed so cold. I know you guys don't want me to get this snuggie on, and I don't have the confidence of like John Collins where he gets in some kind of unicorn onesie. And Sess, I know you know what I'm talking about. Can I get a what? Can I get a unicorn emoji? Anyway, this is comfy that I just have right here in my bed to be comfortable because she's got to keep it cool with CRPS. But whether it's any of those conditions or whether it's things that's going on with your life, it's compounded. So I'm trying to get at you guys. It's compounded because it's on top of oftentimes what was in your past that you never was able to heal from. I've gone to a lot of therapy. It's helped. Anybody that knows me knows that as my good friend Mike Shammo, I'm going to put his name out there because he's so worthy of it. And you know that, oh, there we go, Sassy got a unicorn emoji. Thanks. Truth be told, he says. What do you think about that statement? Truth be told, you know it's something that you got to pay attention to when you get a Mike Shammo in your life. I know you all have them, and he gives you a little bit of a brow. He starts maybe almost getting ready to cry a little bit. And he says, "Truth be told, oh, it's downhill from there." Anything, anything that comes out of his mouth at that point is gospel. But truth be told, everybody has things that are compounded, and therapy for sure has been something that has helped me. One of my friends, I don't know her username, it's Amber. Oh, there you go, Nell. Truth be told, love it. One of my friends that I follow, I've got a post on her. She's a roller skating gal. Her name's Amber. Sess, maybe you can help me out. And Sess, if I'm calling you Sess and that's not your name, then correct me. Um, But she talks about how therapy is so important. Therapy, if you guys are involved with therapy or if you're ever considering that, that is not something to be ashamed with about. Some of the best therapy that I have ever experienced is the common sense from the heart words of wisdom that have come from Mel. I was a very, even though I was a good guy, maybe a little bit of a bad boy appeal. I don't know. Nell will have to tell you, but I had a lot of growing to do, and I still do. There you go. Sensible Amber, go follow her, as well as Sess if you're not already. Um, and women especially shoulder. Yeah, thank you. That it's something like that. Thanks, Seth. Women in our society shoulder too much of that pain, and so often time it's been because of men. Um, whether that's the kinds of hurts, tying that back to a lacking of strength and virtue that we have, and maybe that's the good segue to go back to that thought. I recognize that there are things that I'm faced with that I won't be successful at if I depend on my own virtue and strength. I've been a Christian for a local, been involved with a local denomination here, but I've been a Christian my whole life. And I don't know how it happened, and I want to be careful not to like place blame on people. If you're a human being, therapy is needed. Amen. But I went 20 plus years and I did not know what grace was. How is that possible? If there's anything that I feel is the is a deep as deep can get, truth be told, it is the truth that grace is real and something that has to be discovered on your own. And I don't even want to get into what grace means to me because I don't want that to kind of take away from that. Oh, Jenna. Jenna's in the house. Therapy saved me in 2015 after 10 years of pushing down my issues. Amen. Guys, follow Jenna 1284 if you're not already. She's one of my friends. Connect with her, get to know her a little bit. She's one that has gotten to know me and my family. Thanks, Jenna, for joining. Really appreciate what you do and what you stand for. But even though in the topic of grace and how that applies to you got this compound pain, right? Bridges over into relationships, impacts relationships. Um, Sometimes things happen with separation and divorces. Sometimes that's can be a good thing for people, but sometimes it's a regret that they had. Um, Jenna says I was committed not because of choice for harm to myself after both parents died a year apart. Abby, my daughter's saying I've been dealing with past stuff as well, and therapy's been helpful. Thank you, Abby, for sharing that. And it's true, you guys. If you have kids, how else are we going to influence changing next generation? How many I mean, just think of if we were a classroom and people could raise their hand. Raise your hand if you have been impacted by things that have just been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I mean, can I get an amen? And then on top of that, and you talk about all the compounding stuff, you've got that pain to add on top of the physical ailments and things that are going on. And meanwhile, you're getting bogged down and you don't know what grace is even meaning. You got some checklist that someone's expecting of you, maybe even been imposed upon you by someone, ironically, that loves you and knows who wants the best for you. But that's because that happened to them. Don't get me started. Then it's like, how do I cope with this, right? And I haven't maybe got into therapy, and my friends don't know what the hell to do with that, and so they don't know what to say, and I'm feeling judged, and it's very very helpful. I'm 3 years free of self harming. Oh, Jenna, oh man, thank you for coming in and sharing this. I don't know if you've shared any posts about any of that, but oh my goodness, guys, show Jenna some love there. Talk about having some courage, like Nell and my daughters, to kind of put something out there. That's what I taught. That's what we mean by joining the conversation, guys. I don't want to dismiss having a good dance. I mean, go and watch me and the move that I just busted out with Cameron, sister. Um, I'm I know there's people that sing. There's people that do grow lives where they follow each other and they get connections. Some of the people that follow me probably uh, we got connected in a John Collins or an Anna, grow party kind of thing. There's a place for that. I hope we could make more places like this, or it would be just like coming in a room, family room. It doesn't have to be one where we're being judged or afraid of. It doesn't have to be some weirdo, around the circle awkwardness that's just going to cause other people's anxiety to go through all, go through the roof, and where you feel like that you belong. You belong here. I can tell you that. And even if you're not sharing anything about your story, even if you're not there yet, you're still learning it maybe, that is okay. One of the most beautiful statements that I think that I can say that articulates grace in the most surface level is that it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to not be okay. That goes against the grain of oftentimes what we have maybe been conditioned. How can that be okay? You do belong. Jenna hasn't shared any posts about it before. Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow. Yeah. Whew. You got somebody coming up on here sharing the kind of raw pain that my wife goes through. Then you've got someone that connects with her and shares that she's struggled hurting herself. That's some raw shit, man. Love. Jenna, thanks for sharing that. I hope that you feel like you do belong. I hope that you feel that your family, you found a place, a home, and those 40 scars on each of your arm. Every time you look at them, I want you to remember grace. If I can get as deep as it possibly can get for a moment, as I read what Jenna just shared, which may have been a secret for her, a burden that she carried. Grace would not be a real thing, and it would be a lie saying that it's okay to not be okay if it wasn't for Jesus Christ. I am not a checklist Christian. I make mistakes. But Christ lived. And he went through something in Gethsemane that truly means that you have someone that you could always go to and discover grace yourself. And you're never alone. And whether you share more and you get the help that you need, even we're not counselors. There's a place for this, but there's a place to find a good therapist, right? And if that's the next step for you, absolutely, that could be a part of the puzzle. If it leads you to praying for the first time in years, you can only imagine how much anger I have gone through. And I went through a time in my life, you guys, where I just was so outraged at God. How can he let my wife suffer like this? No, 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 there can't be by God. Or if I'm going to talk to him, I mistakenly viewed him as more of the bad guy and Christ as the good guy that came in to kind of save what God has asked of us. And so I've been wrong and I'm still working on it. But one of the reasons why I'm still working on that and having a real relationship with my God, my Father in heaven, Nell would see me change, be maybe a little bit more short to people in the family, maybe not be as goofy, funny dad. And I went through a period where it's pretty bitter. I'm still working on it. I am. But that grace that is real in our life that came into being because of his son is founded in that being, our Heavenly Father. And kindred's just another way of saying that we're children of God, trying to make our way through this life with purpose and meaning, no matter how much has been compounded into our life. During that moment where we're laying in our bed, those moments where lights get turned off, things don't look as pretty, smiles aren't as visible. Even the people that you love the most aren't around you and you are thereby with yourself. You show me one person that doesn't have some anger towards something higher than them as to why they're going through what they're going through. Jenna shares that she was mad at God for 2 years for giving her mom cancer, but then she finds a silver lining from it. Sometimes it's hard to find hope. Put a smile on your face after you wake up and you're back at the grind and you're still carrying that stuff that compounded, because I don't care how much therapy or how many good friends or good people that you find on here. The truth to life is that you are always going to have to cope with shit. There's always going to be something that you can't change. And the last thing that we want is to accept that. I'm here to tell you there is no one that I have met ever that has been more example of every life lesson that God wants for us to experience than you. No. And you have changed my life. And I hope that thousands in this world can come to know you and feel at home and feel connected. And that you, beyond the profound virtue and purpose that you have had as a mother, and even if that means still trying to get sleep, still trying to not beat yourself up for having your life change in so many ways. That whether it's like what Jenna is saying, where he showed her salvation, or whether it's in the context of discovering more grace, whether that is in the realization of finding what strengths and virtue that you need more of in your life and how you can get it. I pray we all slow down. I keep feeling like I could kind of wrap it up and, oh man, Vegas, Mario, the hell. Guys, and I'm going to keep rambling until my wife tells me to get off. So I'm sorry if I start getting off point, but if it's doing good, she's the best judge of it. Guys, Vegas Mario just joined. He's a friend of mine that was able to be a part of Friendsgiving with Ed Dews and JT Laybourne back east. And, you know, I know that Nell and I would have loved to have gone if she was able to. It would have been kind of something like this, and we weren't able to. If you go back and look at one of my posts where the Dan Henry, JT Laybourne, and Ed Dews were sitting on the beach there, um, you'll see me right after where I did kind of a sit down and saying, "Hey, I'm there with you guys," because because they're my brothers. I mean, seriously, they're the kind of guys I would have loved to have been brought up with, that I would have skateboarded with. Um, that out of the millions of people they've befriended me, so to speak. Anyway, he joined, and oh yeah, I appreciate you saying that. You're a great supporter, my friend, and so are you. You guys follow him. Vegas Mario got a lot of great posts as well. I love that you've joined. Been rambling on here for I don't know how long. Um, but feel free to. We've been talking about uh, for those that have joined, kind of coming back around, just talking about behind the scenes, having people feel like that there's a space to be able to talk a little bit more about behind the scenes and have that be okay and have that be a positive. Talk about things that you would otherwise think have to be behind the scenes because that's going to be some negative. No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to, we don't have to feel like if there are things that are going on in our life that that's something that can only be talked about with a small handful, or that it's not okay. I can't stand that that's part of what we've been conditioned as part of society. And if we could, change that in just a small, live here, not that I'm anything special, but um, if something's bothering me and I see a space for it, try to show up for it. Um, Okay, Abby's gonna head out. Thanks for joining, sweetie. Again, that's my youngest. If you're not already following her, Abby and three. I'm glad it was fun too, hun. And thanks for connecting and chatting and getting to know people that are there. And I hope that you guys continue to develop those friendships. And that's awesome that you guys participated. Um, yeah, get some rest. I usually rely on my phone to see the time, and my phone's obviously being used, and I don't know what time it is. So hell, no, if you're gonna keep me talking until 2 o'clock, then I guess you're gonna. Um, yeah, and you know what? That's so true, Vegas. I just watched a post of JT Laybourne, and he did a duet of a guy. I've seen a couple of posts like this actually, and they literally, not lying, was sharing how they would have killed themselves with what they were going through if it was not for TikTok. And I want to talk just a little bit more about how that's not just TikTok. Anything in life can have a negative connotation to it if we're not trying to be careful with whether it's being used in a positive way. Facebook, Instagram. I mean, sometimes, some people have had good experiences with that, and sometimes not. And you have a bad experience at a food place, and you can kind of attach that. And TikTok happens to be a platform where there's been a lot of positivity, and that's great. But you know what? That doesn't mean that it's always going to be. So we got to be careful. But it has been a platform, Vegas, that has literally saved people's life. Interestingly enough, and that to me just means that it's a space where people have connected in ways that they haven't to before. I don't know whether that's because um, years ago one of the norms have been, I guess, having kind of therapy support groups. I suppose I don't know if those are even a thing as much. The whole concept of maybe even stereotypical of people going through something that's similar and they go and sit around with perfect strangers and they who knows whether they've got a connection with them or not, and sometimes that's maybe helped people and sometimes it hasn't, but we are doing better, yeah. And it isn't enough, it's not. um, but people are putting themselves out there in the face of being criticized, I'll tell you, if you're new to TikTok and you're experiencing Ed Dudes for the first time and you see him staring in the camera, you're not going to get what the hell's going on, you know. I remember seeing this guy that's got all the hair in the world that I don't have. I used to have a whole full head of hair that looks like Laybourne, wondering who the hell, why, and staring in the camera, something like this. Let's see if I can do this. That's my best Ed impression. Anyway, shout out to you, Ed. I don't even want to do a Laybourne impression. It would have to go something like this, you know, because he does the dances, right? You know, he's like he does the doogie, and then Laybourne goes shit like that. So I can't dance like JT. That's that's my attempt. But it's a good platform. Hey, thanks Vegas. I don't have the guts to do that shit. JT is a dancing fool and looks good, whatever he does. Same thing with Ed. Anyway, back to the platform. Career in healthcare, job saves lives. Oh, your job saves lives. Oh, that's awesome, Vegas. That's awesome. He was down there with the Friendsgiving and has some pictures. Go check out some of his posts. Um, Misty 2.0. Taylor is Ed Dude's wife. Miss GT. All that. You know, you'll start kind of seeing some people that are kind of just kind of connecting. Nino Vina, John Collins, stuff like that. These are people that are kind of getting on there and just really kind of. And I love the diversity. That's another thing. Let me talk about two things with the. I'm just really going, and no, believe me, you got to find a timeout emoji when you want me to stop because I don't know what time it is, and I'm fine with doing this as long as it's good for people. But when it's ready to stop, please tell me, okay? I'm paying attention to that. Saving lives, it does. People will feel like that whether that's losing hope with humanity, whether that's feeling like that there really isn't people out there that's not like the people that they knew in the past to connect with, and they just give up or close to giving up, and then they see a bunch of I don't know if you want to call someone did a post and they were saying, you know what TikTok is? Can't remember if it was Rick or the rich. Go follow the rich too. But um, someone once said, oh, it's where all the misfits fit. And maybe there's some truth to that. And I responded, I said, that's what I call kindred, and I really believe that. I even think that one of the reasons why people connect with people that are kindred, it's only 8:35 p.m. What the hell? Who's going to bed at 8:35 p.m.? Oh, it's almost 11 or something Eastern. Sorry. I'm in front of my computer. Now I know what time it is. Anyway, yeah, 8:30. Go until 9. Okay. Well, still let me know. Yeah, I got about a half hour here, guys. So I can't claim to know, back to what Vegas is saying, of how it really did save a bug joining in this conversation. How it really did save their life. And people literally will say, you saved my life. 10:35. Curly Dog 829. I don't know how long you've been in here, but girl, guys, she likes almost every damn thing that I put out there. Follow Curly Dog 829. And if you have got something to say, You know what? I don't know if this is true about you, but you kind of strike me as someone that's got the biggest heart in the world and is maybe a little timid to like post something out there, maybe a little bit of shy, but just a really huge heart. People follow her. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, Curly Dog 829, you want to share something, you go right ahead and comment in there, okay? Saves lives, connections. Let's keep that going. You're right. See that? You're right. That's the kind of impression that I got. She does have some posts, but um, mama.mama.sue, I think is her username. I don't know if she's seeing this or she's in here. She's someone that I'm friends with. She go look her up in my follower that I'm following and follow her. I think that she's 70 and looks 55, 50, 50. I mean 55, whatever. I mean, she'll dance it up or whatever. But I that came into my mind because she talked about how she follows people that don't have any content, and she was giving a little bit of a definition about that, and that they just have a huge heart, and they're just maybe, maybe they feel a connection and they feel like that they belong, but that they or maybe are not in a place where they want to, maybe, they're shy or whatever. And so she was putting a plug out there. And I'm not claiming to know everything about you, Curly Daw, but just a plug that I see that you've joined there. And if there's any truth to that, hopefully you see that as a compliment. Um, because you've been really sweet and you've followed my wife's story, and I know that that means the world to her. So thank you for coming into our life and getting to know us a little bit better. You're certainly part of ours. So platforms changing lives. Vegas, you talked about making some good friends this weekend, and you talk about being in healthcare saving lives. Feel free to post a little bit more detail on what you mean by that. What friends? You talking about friends in here? You talking about that you didn't go to Tennessee with the Chad and his daughter's event, did you? And meet friends there? Because I know that you. I look forward to being able to go to an event when I'm able to, whether Nell's going to be able to or not. But I probably won't be able to go to any of those things until Utah. But I'm interested. What friends did you meet? Has it been in here? Where did you meet them? Any recommendations for people following them? And if you are still in here, it's okay if you've dipped out. But talk to us a little bit more about what you're also doing in the healthcare to kind of help people there too, because you are a part of helping contribute to this platform, whether it's helping save lives or to just make a difference. Nell says, "Why am I such a misfit, my dear? So you can show others that they may fit." Yeah, I don't know if someone's saying that they. Nell said, "These platforms have given some of the dearest friends around the world." It's true. Oh, and YouTube has also been a lifeline for her. Yeah, I talked a little bit about how that has been a huge source of strength and virtue for Nell. You want to know, you want to know one of the reasons why I think people feel like that they're a misfit? They don't realize how similar they are to so many other people. And there's been people in their lives that have made you feel like that you were different and not okay. when the reality is that person that probably made you feel that way is also feeling like they're a misfit. I don't view it as a fit for misfits, even if you want to kind of nickname it that with a kind of a sense of humor. I really do see, I've said this on some of the other posts when I see people kind of coming together. And that's one of the reasons why this means so much to me is that, of course, you would want to have that kind of positivity happen with other people in the world, and then to have your sweet wife excluded from that. And so I've really tried to navigate that, and I think we're kind of getting into that space where there's been a lot of people that have that I've become friends with, and they're becoming friends with Nell, and my daughters are in here and they're connecting, and it, I don't want any expectations with any of that, but we would love to do more lives, even if it's more of this. My YouTube videos are increasing, so heck, we're here for the party too. If we can make a difference with it all as well, because people need to feel like that they fit. Seriously, we joke around, we joke about that whole dynamic with Misfit, but we know that that's a big part of where a lot of the behind the scenes pain comes from. And even if you're sharing things in therapy and you're getting help, sometimes you might need to have that person tell you that you're not alone, because people are not talking. Like Nell said, we're getting better, but not near enough. People are not talking, even on the platform. That's why when I'll hear here and there, Dan Henry one time talked about a post, and I did a duet, and he was like saying, "What do you guys do when you get into a funk?" I call it a funk. And um, there was a little bit of conversation that happened there. Um, one of the posts that my wife did in the past that I have still a recording of was bringing up the topic of, do you feel alone? Are you going through pain? She's been huge in kind of putting that out there, even though that's not going into a space where you're doing a live or having the camera on her and things like that. You should not, whether it's my wife's situation. That's the point to my comment above. We're all living with disruptions, one from after the other. Yeah, whether it's my wife's story, which I want to, and everything I do, have a huge spotlight on. And with that, we also together want for you to feel like that you have a light on you too, in a positive way, so that the disruptions that are happening in your life are viewed, starting with yourself, as Nell says, to not be a negative, but to be a positive. That comes back to strength and virtue. Maybe you don't have the strength and virtue. Maybe you've got weaknesses and vices that even discourage that. And so it's negative for you. And then you're around people that are struggling with the same thing, even if you view them as kindred. You see people starting to kind of break out of that shell and start to open up a little bit. You've got um, Kelly Henry talking a little bit about how she had some relationship problems and things. I mean, there's all sorts of different examples of people that are kind of putting their toe out there, testing the water. Sometimes they're waiting for someone else. I don't want to wait. I don't know how long I'm going to have Nell. I don't know how long I I could have her here for another 20, 25 plus. We could grow old together. Who knows what's going to happen? If I put 5 posts out there and do a live and it falls on its face, other than maybe 2 people heard some things that they've never heard before in their life, and that was originating from the virtue and grace and strength that has influenced me from Nell, reciprocating and kind of building this dynamic that goes with other people that are starting to do the same thing, all becoming stronger together, feeling that kindred connections, joining in those conversations to the degree that they are ready for, taking that with you back to your life and being your own leader in your own space has got to make our Savior smile. And if you want to feel joy, not stuff that's just going to be fleeting from you ate a chocolate cake or watched a sci-fi movie or you just watched 20 gazillion Outlander episodes. You want to feel something in your heart that's more long lasting, and that is being of service in whatever platform that is contributing to what God and Jesus are trying to do for this planet. You align yourself with that, you allow for your flawed self to be put out there and feel scared that you're going to be laughed at or you're going to have people see your bald head or something. But if that makes someone feel like they heard something that was true, whether it helped save their life, if you helped bring virtue and more strength into someone's life that they didn't already have, when our time is through here on earth, we will not only have less regrets, but we will move hopefully even more frequently beyond those moments of coping, of pain, of suffering, of fear, of doubt, of anger. I've been in a state of hopelessness. Oh my gosh, despair is a scary thing. And being a part of this world is probably always going to varying degrees, be that. It's just part of the human experience. But boy, we can show up more than we did the yesterday. And it doesn't mean that we're more important in doing it, or that we're any more important than the next person, or that we've got to compete for stages or reasons why messages and stories need to get out there. But it feels good to feel like you might be making some changes that would make him smile. So I could tell you, I probably made some changes even with his love and grace that's made him frown, sadly. It comes full circle back to grace. If you're watching this and you can relate to what has been said here in the comments, so much of this has been listening and watching me. Hopefully, you've gotten possibly even more from the comments. Curly Dog's just sharing a big piece of her is missing her husband. Your husband is deployed, and then we'll post when he's back. It's not something that I can kind of feel like I can sufficiently empathize with because I have had people kind of there in my my life. I had my wife. One of the Christmas presents that I did for her is that I painted and did a room in her home. She was able to go up to Idaho for a bit and then come back. And she was only gone for like 2 days. And I felt maybe even just a little bit of that. So I can't imagine what you must go through. And I hope that in some way experiences like this, Curly Dog helps you feel filled. And then along with what, Nell just said, absolutely we appreciate his sacrifice and what he has and is doing for us all during this, crazy crazy world. Well, thank you for sharing that and connecting with my wife, Nell. Oh, good. 15 months. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine, my friend. Can't imagine. I hope that TikTok have been has must have become much more than just a place of entertainment, I'd imagine, for you. There's nowhere here for you, especially now if you weren't already connected with Nell. Um, she's here for you as well. I know that those things really pull on her heartstrings when she's here and somebody's going through a hardship of some kind. Well, let's do a time check here. It's 8:55. So let me go ahead and kind of wrap this up. Oh, thank you so much, Curly Dog. You're amazing. Yes, and please join us during more lives and videos, both here and our YouTube. I'm going to be posting this to our YouTube channel, and as we do more of these lives, I'm able to record the screen, and it's kind of recording all of it, right? And so a lot of people, when they're doing a live, they're not doing that, and then it's just lost. So I want to kind of get into a habit, a pattern where the recording happens, and I'm able to upload that so that people can go and watch it and so forth if they missed it. Um, I don't know where all of this is going to go either. And I'll just kind of share what my start to this is that is kind of similar to what I've heard other people say when it has become even, bigger, right? Like news kind of attention. You'll hear stories like people will say that they just did a dance or that COVID started and they wanted to, have connections and kind of meet people or whatever. And having a positive escape, or whether you want to call that detaching from the grind and the negativity that's out there, whether we call it escape or whatever, I would even liken that to that it's just healthy detachment. The reason why I know that that's a good thing and not just like, oh, I'm escaping my problems or oh, I'm, putting my head in the sand, you guys, because we're using this term escape. But that's a positive connotation. Even Christ, at a point in his life, kind of moved out. I think it was on a hill, kind of away from the crowd, and took a break from, I'm sure, the demand that was there, right? And I think we can learn a lot from that. In that Nell Nell has taught me even more so. I mentioned this briefly, but didn't expound on the value of it. Is that I have been someone that has looked so much on speed being valued, and she's taught me to kind of slow down. And that ties in with this escape and or this kind of space to be able to feel like that hey, I belong among these people. And I certainly hope that that is true with us. We have gone through too much to not have those kinds of things be what comes of it. I refuse to have the hardship, the moments where I didn't couldn't think I could get any lower be in vain. I don't want to leave just spitting it out. I don't want to leave this world feeling like I just went through it but didn't do anything with it. And if good things can come from some of the worst suffering and things that you would otherwise think are just behind the scenes aren't something that needs to necessarily be behind the scenes, in the sense of why not share and have that be part of the conversation if it's something that can do good? Why not? Then that's what this is about. And those are the three phrases that ring the most true for me. That if you click on my bio, you want a cool piece of merch that has any of those three on them, have at it. It was kind of fun putting that together. It's not like I'm going to be getting rich off of any of that, but it was fun putting some merch together for the kindred spirit, our kindred spirits, stronger together and join the conversation. And I hope that those three things can be part of what you remember when you think of me and my family. That we are kindred, and especially now we are stronger together. And to whatever extent you're comfortable, join in the conversation. Join in dances and sing or share your art and do all those good things as well. But let's join in the conversation because you never know. You never know. Is it going to just make someone smile? As my friend Chelsea in Ireland, go look her up, follow her. She tries to make people smile, whether it's JT Laybourne's message, make people smile, whether it's my wife serving oftentimes behind the scenes in ways that is packed full of love in her gifts. You never know if that is going to be part of making someone smile, let alone helping save their life.